Why people buy stories, not products. Have you noticed something strange about human behavior? Some people sell ordinary things, nothing special, nothing rare, yet the moment they speak, people trust them. Not because of discounts. Not because of features. But because something clicks inside the listener. That click is not logical. It's emotional. In real life, people don't buy objects. They buy meaning. They buy reassurance. They buy a reflection of themselves. Long before money existed, humans exchanged stories to decide who to trust. Around fires, in villages, on trade routes, survival depended on one question: is this safe? Modern neuroscience confirms this ancient truth. The brain does not begin with logic. It begins with feeling. Emotion decides first, reason follows later to justify the choice. This is why two identical products can feel completely different. One feels cheap. The other feels valuable. Even when nothing about the object itself has changed. A story reduces uncertainty. It creates emotional safety. It tells the brain, this belongs to people like you. That's why the same message spoken by two people carries different weight. One feels hollow. The other feels real. The difference is not the product. It's the story wrapped around it. As the year unfolds, markets grow louder. Everyone is selling something. Everyone is posting, pitching, promising. But attention does not belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the clearest story. History proves this again and again. In ancient markets, merchants sold the same goods side by side. The ones who survived were not the ones who shouted. They were the ones whose stories made sense, stories of origin, struggle, purpose, and reliability. People didn't just ask what they were buying. They asked who they were buying from. Today, the brain asks the same questions, silently. Why this? Why you? Why now? Features cannot answer these questions. Statistics cannot answer them. Only story can. A story places your offering inside a human context. It explains why it exists, why it matters, and why it belongs in this moment of someone's life. That's why persuasion fails and connection works. The moment people feel pushed, resistance rises. But the moment they feel understood, defenses fall. Stories do not force belief. They invite recognition. And recognition builds trust faster than persuasion ever could. In business and personal growth, the most powerful shift happens when you stop trying to impress and start trying to connect. People do not connect to perfection. They connect to process. Your struggle is not a liability. It is a bridge. Your learning curve, your failures, your reason for starting, these are not weaknesses. They are proof of humanity. From ancient legends to modern biographies, the figures we remember are not those who never fell, but those who continued despite uncertainty. Psychologically, people trust those who have been where they are. A story of struggle tells the listener, you are not alone. It mirrors their fears, doubts, and hopes. This is why storytelling is not manipulation. It is alignment. When someone sees themselves in your story, value is created instantly. Not because the product changed, but because the meaning changed. People don't buy what you sell. They buy who they believe they are becoming through it. That's why clarity always outperforms noise. When your story is clear, people don't need to be convinced. They choose freely, and choice builds loyalty far deeper than pressure ever can. In a world overwhelmed by information, people are not searching for more data. They are searching for signal. They want messages that slow the mind, not overwhelm it. Stories do this naturally. They invite presence. They say, stay. This matters. Every brand, every business, every personal mission is a conversation. And every conversation creates an inner contract, not to buy, but to believe. Belief comes before loyalty. Loyalty comes before advocacy. This is how real brands are built. People will forget what you sold them. But they will remember how your story made them feel about themselves. Seen. Understood. Capable. That feeling becomes trust. And trust becomes momentum. So if you're building something this year, Quietly or boldly, remember this: clarity outlasts hype. Meaning outperforms noise. And story is the bridge between who you are and who your audience is becoming. If this changed how you see value, stay here. Subscribe for insight that builds real brands. Share this with someone creating quietly. Comment if story has shaped your choices. Like and follow Lite Studio, where meaning creates momentum.